terror on Christmas Eve. Gunmen's deadly assault in Nigeria leaves over 150 dead. So this is a huge thing that happened recently, and it's really important that we talk about it. The Christmas season in Nigeria was marred by a horrific armed attack in central Nigeria, resulting in over 160 fatalities and over 300 injuries. On December 23rd and 24th, assailants targeted 21 villages in Plateau State, predominantly Christian communities, leaving a trail of death, injury, and destruction. The state governor, Caleb Mutfwang, lamented the scale of the tragedy, saying, quote, "As I am talking to you, Mangu local government alone, we have buried 15 people. As of this morning in Bokkos, we are counting not less than 100 corpses." The Plateau State government reported 96 deaths in Bokkos and Barkin-Ladi areas, with 221 houses burnt. While no group claimed responsibility, suspicion falls on the Fulani herders amidst long-standing religious and resource conflicts. The government faces criticism for its response, with Amnesty International's Sanusi urging a thorough investigation, stating, quote, "It is really sad and unfortunate that these kinds of things continue to happen and the authorities cannot do anything apart from sympathizing with the victims." Despite promises of action from Nigerian military and political leaders, skepticism about government effectiveness persists. So, um, here's what we know about what happened. The death count from this attack is still not entirely clear. I have seen numbers ranging from 150, and we're talking about dead. We're not even talking about injured. Let's be clear. Oh, D is saying the body count is over 200 now. Yeah, because when I was researching this yesterday, the biggest number that I saw was 194. But I'm assuming that people are continuing to die from their injuries, and it's horrific. And so this means that 2023 ended with over 4,000 Christians being killed in Nigeria that year alone. Like, the attacks on Christians in Nigeria, like, are escalating on a different level. Um, yeah, some guy is saying at least 5,000. The most recent no, he's saying 50,000. Over what period of time are you talking? Because one Christian persecution tracker, that I follow, they said that the number was 4,000 from the previous year. Um, and so oh, excuse me. Oh, it's 50,000 Christians have been killed in the past 20 years. Holy crap. Holy crap. Like, and it's wild because would have never really guessed that Nigeria is one of the most dangerous places to be a Christian. But the massacres against Christians in
And it's half
Nigeria are
Christian.
insane.
And it's half
Exactly.
Christian.
Exactly. So people are attributing this so far to the Fulani herdsmen, and we covered a giant massacre covered by committed by the Fulani, I think within the past year. This is an ongoing thing. This is a decades long conflict between the predominantly Fulani Muslim herders and the predominantly Christian um, farmers, and they kind of like contend for land and resources and such. And my understanding is that a lot of the Fulani have essentially been co-opted by jihadist movements. And this horrific massacre occurred on New Year's Eve. And again, I mean, the body count just still continues to grow. And I was shocked by the lack of coverage of this, because unfortunately the news cycle means that we can really cover only one conflict at a time because people have a low attention span, let's be honest. Um, yeah, and Zayd is saying, and yet no one mentions this because the victims are not Muslim in Israel and the Jews aren't involved. I hate to be that simplistic about this, but I feel like it basically breaks down that way. And also
Oh,
and
well,
also
not
and
nobody, but
let's also partially be honest and say that it breaks down this way also because this happened in Africa.
mm,
And most people in the media in general kind of just go, "Oh, well, yeah, that's what happens over there." It's horrible. It's horrible. Um, Darko, so it's interesting that the Vatican is not making diplomatic effort about this. The Vatican is in a really difficult spot because they have a lot of their clergy that get kidnapped in Nigeria. And so the Vatican actually does go to pretty great lengths um to rescue their clergy that get kidnapped in Nigeria. And a lot of the kidnapping in Nigeria is motivated as an economy. And they do this to Christians literally as an economy because they know that they will get hostage money out of international Christian organizations. Um, yeah, yeah. And there's a lack of coverage, and people don't care. And the government is not doing shit, basically. For the past 10 years, there were lots of people that were interviewed about this that I was reading. And basically, they're saying for the past 10 years, rural Christians have just been completely left at the mercy of whoever will come attack them. It took the authorities over 12 hours to respond to one of the attacks on one of these villages. 21 villages attacked. And no one ever gets arrested. They keep on being like, "Oh yeah, we're the full authority of the law, blah blah blah." Like no one ever gets arrested. There's very little care to actually go prosecute these people. So, I don't know. It's just important to talk about it because I don't want people to forget that this happens. It deserves coverage. I don't know if you had anything else to add.
no, you covered it very well.
Yeah.
So, we got a super chat from Secular Sakai.
Ooh, thank you, Sakai. Saying, "Our monthly PayPal donations still processing? Just want to make sure my 110 are still reaching you guys. PS Mastodon is a special decentralized social media platform. There might be a fake bot." Oh, meaning someone pretending to be us on Mastodon? Yeah,
Or
because
maybe
we
just
we don't have
copying
an
our,
account.
m- maybe just copying our tweets though.
Mm. But in terms of your PayPal donation, yes, they should still be processing.
Yeah.
It depends on what time you signed up for that specific subscription, like when it actually gets charged. But last time I
Yeah.
checked, yes, it was. And thank you so much for being so generous to us every month, Sakai.
Y-
It makes a huge
Yeah.
difference.
It literally saved us when you started it, and so thank you so much for supporting us, Secular Sakai. It's very, very generous. It's helping us
Mhm.
continue doing our work. So I appreciate that. By the way, guys, our
And if
PayPal.
you guys want to also, yes, help us continue, link is in the description to help support the show. Thank you to everyone who's a monthly donor. It really makes sure that we can keep going, like no matter what. I set up our structure for that purpose.
Yes, if you guys want to prefer to use PayPal to support us, the link is in the description. So thank you for that. Oh, we got another super chat from Sid.
Oh, Sid, thank you, Sid, saying Islamo Nazis are a threat to civilization. And this is what frustrates me is that people, especially leftists, do not understand that Islamist movements are fascist movements. They don't understand that, or they're willfully ignorant to it because all they see are people who say that they're against imperialism and that like their analysis stops there. Like the postmodern influenced post-colonial mindset only goes so far as oppression is perpetrated by the West, and it stops
Mm,
there. It never considers oppression that occurs naturally within any given civilization. Literally, it's as if the entire discipline cannot comprehend that concept. So, yeah, they don't understand that these are fascists.
yeah.
Um, Secular Sakai is saying Nigeria is aware that it is dangerously close to the Boko Haram war becoming an expanded civil war if they are not careful. And yet, I wonder about the response from the authorities. It seems woefully lacking.
We got another super chat.
Greg Smith, thank you, Greg, is saying 8 to 10 million Muslims convert to Christianity every year, many due to dreams and visions. Islam is dying, but Islamofascism is growing.
I don't know how these two are related.
Yeah. And also, like, what is the delta on that conversion rate? But
yeah, Islam is not dying. I would say
no,
Islam is actually growing as a religion.
exactly.
So Islam is growing faster than Christianity. If anything, Christianity is doing most of the dying. I think. I mean, relative to Islam, at least.
I agree.
That's what the numbers show. Islam, unfortunately, is rising.
But if you had to quantify Islamism, I'd be very curious to see, like, how do you quantify that, and how do you quantify if it's growing? Yeah.
I mean,
I
Islamism is just true Islam. That's what Islamism is. Is Islam taken to its logical conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Islamism is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, tracking those attitudes on a large scale, I don't think is something that has been like super. Okay. Oh, and we got another super chat. Wait, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, yeah. Cleo, here we go. Cleo gave $5 saying, my friend was supporting the Houthis for disrupting the chain of commerce and taking actions to Israel. Not surprised they ignore Nigeria. These fucking idiots who are supporting the Houthis right now are literally supporting a movement that does the Roman salute because the Nazis did it. It literally says, curse the Jews in their motto on their fucking flag. It is a movement that brought back slavery to Yemen. So if people think that they're lefty and supporting these people for resistance and liberation, you can remind them to pull their head out of their asshole. Because just because these people have a darker skin tone than you does not make them sinless. Huh? So if you think that the Houthis are your new bad boy resistance boyfriends, I would like you to remind them that your badass resistance liberatory boyfriends are getting fucked up the ass by the Islamic Republic every single day of the week. How about that? They're sucking the dick of an old man, some old men in Qom, taking it all the way down. Okay? Because these people forget who's at the top of the food chain. And the answer is it's some 90-year-old, decrepit-looking crypt keeper mullahs in Qom. Okay? Seeing people celebrate the Houthis, I didn't think that I could hate these lefty types more than I already did. Well, October taught me some things, and then seeing them descend to the level of praising the Houthis when they have no idea the misery that they have wrought upon the Yemeni people, the disdain and disgust you showed towards the suffering of the Yemeni people, you were spitting on them. It is so fucking embarrassing. It is so fucking embarrassing. But these people have a revolutionary fetish. What this is to them is revolution porn. That's what this is to them. It excites them in a visceral, physical way. It's porn to them. This is porn to them in their ideology and what they believe in. This is a fetish. It excites them. It satisfies their desires. That's why they act this way. I want people to call it out. They see these deaths. They see Palestinian children being brainwashed into aspiring to become martyrs because of the strength of their resistance. At the end of the day, it's porn to them. And we should treat them with nothing but disgust and being reviled by them. That's what I think about that.
Well, damn. I don't think we're gonna get that monetization appeal, by the way, after that. But but that was great. This is
Clea was saying she teaches at a U.S. university. Well, where else would she fit in better? Where else would she fit in better?
Well, people really enjoyed that rant in the chat, and this is what we get when we don't worry about monetization anymore. So thank you. By the way, I just want to mention to you two with at the part where you said like curse the J people. That's not our view. That's the Houthis' view. We're just Susie was just expressing their disgusting views. So I just want to mention that.
Yes.
But yeah,
See, yeah,
but the
Dave
constant mention of porn and yeah, go on.
Yeah. I did. Freaking.
That's good. It's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. We got so many
And
super
this is
chats
why
that we
your
don't have to worry
support
about.
matters, you guys.
Yeah. It's okay.
Davey Boy say most of the alt left support the far right Houthis. See, this is the thing. See, the broke version. It's not very cool to say, Jewish power conspiracy like a freaking Nazi. Saying Jewish power like that's broke. You know what? And we're not gonna be broke. We're not gonna be broke. We're not broke boys, we're spoiled girlies. And spoiled girlies know that it's not Jewish power. That's so like 1930s. Okay. No. We're going to be woke. We're not going to be broke. We're going to be woke. And the woke version is that Jews are a colonizing, settling, white, colonial, oppressive, apartheid state force. And that not only that, but in America, they are a white oppressor class. Because Jewish power is broke, but we're woke. And woke people know that Jews are a white oppressor class and they have too much control of our media. And yeah. So, but no, we're not Nazis because that's broke. Because at the top of the oppression pyramid, we have the first layer.
Okay. This is amazing. I could watch this all night. Yeah. Oh my god, this is something. Can you?
Guys,
You should
remember,
do an entire stream like that, 2 hours.
on
like
this side, we have broke, and then if you go up, and then you go all the way down to this side, it's almost shaped like this. It's almost shaped like a horseshoe. We have broke, and then we have woke. And broke, that sounds like so gross.
No, people are appreciating this, right?
I'm losing my mind.
That's good.
This
No,
man is
please,
better
more
than
of this.
monetization.
True.
Oh my god,
Which
we got some super
actually,
chats.
We got so many
And
of them.
oh my god, thank you guys. This is what you get when I just go full unhinged. Sid Dave is saying the leftist ecosystem has given space to Islamists, Khalistanis who play identity politics to pursue their agenda. The left needs to introspect. You ain't gonna get any argument from me here. The problem is that the left is an Ouroboros that will constantly eat itself because it is ideologically required to continually eat itself because as long as it is informed by postmodern theory, it is going to see any form of categorization as oppression. It is going to see it as hierarchy, as oppression. So any leader that rises through its ranks is going to be eaten by its own ideology because as being a leader there will be a hierarchy which is oppression, so then they need to be brought down and crucified, and this is why leftist movements constantly fail. um yeah, so introspection, I'm not holding my breath. um Sid Dave also gave us a $10 super chat. Thank you. He's saying, I also feel like calling all non-whites people of color to be a weird term. Leftists have grouped all ethnic groups against one group, white. Imagine if we had a category called non-black people. It is insane. It is insane. It is a uniquely American idea that has then been imposed, ironically imposed for people that are so anti-imperialist. It has been imposed upon the rest of the world. I went to a conference a few years ago, and it was when this conference, it was for contemplative neuroscience, and it was when this conference, literally the year that it became woke, and they started introducing all this terminology into the field for this conference, and there were people from all around the world representing their research in contemplative neuroscience, and they were doing there's a very typical like the privilege relay. It's a kind of exercise you do to, you walk forward if you have this privilege, you walk back if you don't, this kind of thing. And there were all these people from outside of America, and they were talking about the exercise afterwards, and they're like, you keep on using this term people of color and all this stuff, this means nothing to me in my country, I'm not a person of color. This is not a construct in my country, but I come here and you're telling me that I have to belong in this construct, which is so ironic. And it is why a lot of these ideas informed by postmodernism actually recreate and perpetuate the very constructs in which they're trying to deconstruct, especially post-colonial theory, which was an incredible job of trying to, in the sake of trying to deconstruct the foil of East versus West, they actually reconstruct it and cast the East as more superstitious and anti-objective empiricism than ever before. Within different countries, they can have different ethnicities and different identities, sure. But people of color is a uniquely American idea, phenomenon, that imposes America's admittedly bizarre racial constructs upon the rest of the world. You want to talk about cultural imperialism? Yeah. It's also kind of, yeah. Yeah. Not to mention, yeah. Okay. We got a lot of super chats. Okay. First of all,
You
David
know what?
Logan.
You know what? Hold on. You see, Susanna is stopping herself from saying more things because we have to read the other super chats. This is why she has so much more to say about this, and she's right now stopping herself. This is why I'm trying to get Susanna to have her own streams separate from the news, just talking about her ideas. So if you guys think that's a good idea, please tell her. Like without me, just have her own stream at a different hour, separate from the time that I usually go live, just talking to you guys about these ideas. So please tell her that this would be a great show, just a Susie hour with you guys, So let her know, because she does get, if you guys tell her this is a good idea, she will start believing it, because I've been trying to convince her. So help me out with convincing her.
Zayd is saying Suzanne is being that uncle that says I won't get political at dinner and then has a few drinks. My family has to keep a tight leash on me. I ain't gonna lie. We were at a party last night, and like my boyfriend overheard a conversation I was having, and he just turned at me and he's like, "Oh, there she goes." David Mogan sent us a super sticker, $20 super
Thank
sticker.
you.
Thank you, David.
Wow.
Monica is saying that my Valley Girl accent is on point. Thank you, babe. Thanks, girly. And Nicole is saying, you mean the so-called progressive left when you say left? I mean the progressives, I mean the socialists, I mean the communists, the tankies. Yeah, all those.
Not the liberal left. Not the liberal left, just to be clear.
Yeah. But nowadays, actually, never mind. Greg gave us another super chat. Thank you, Greg. Saying in 1900, Africa was 1% Christian. Today, over 60%. If Islam is growing, why all the violence? I don't really understand what you're getting at here.
If Islam doing why all the way? In 1900s, Africa was 101% Christian. Today, over 60%. If Islam growing, why all the way? I don't understand the question. Looking
We
at the
also need
level
to
of
understand that large sections of Africa, like, decolonized in the past century. That is going to
right.
cause a lot of violence.
Yeah, and also comparing the 1900s, where we didn't have this world liberal order, which stabilized most of the planet, to now, it's a false comparison. The level of violence overall was much higher back then, and it has reduced significantly because of the current liberal agreements and institutions and order that we have around the world. So it's not a good way to compare the level of violence back then to now. Yeah.
So Sid gave us another super chat saying, I think young leftists in the West need to learn that white people are also ruled by non-whites, like Arab rule in Spain, Italy, Mongol rule in Russia, Ukraine. I'm 100% sure that they will refuse to accept it. I agree. They will also make excuses. They will say that it's not the same. They will say that empires constructed by the quote unquote West, by European forces, are exceptional in one way or another. And in certain circumstances, they were. I'm not going to like argue otherwise, right? I'm not going to be a historical revisionist like they are. But yeah, no, that doesn't count. Why does it not count? You'll never get a consistent answer. But that does not count. And what's so funny is I was having a conversation with my boyfriend about this, and he was arguing with someone who took the mindset of basically, oh, the people that were colonized by our country, hundreds of years ago, they have a right to hate us and all this stuff, blah blah blah. And he was like, well, my country was like colonized, literally conquered by like Muslim and Arab invaders centuries ago. Does that give me a right to hate Arabs and Muslims? It's like, they're going to say no, of course not. He's like, yeah, and I don't want to. They actually brought many beautiful things that shaped my culture. So I'm not going to like hate people to this day. That happened hundreds of years ago. The people nowadays had nothing to do with that. But yet these people will refuse to accept this. Little Bronzo in Kenya gave me a super chat and is now forcing me to follow through with my words. Fine. Saying, Susanna, please finish that sentence. Nowadays, the liberal left, I've just become very angry. So, I'm, okay, I get heated, as is normal. So, take everything with a grain of salt. But I just feel like with the attitude of the mainstream left nowadays, like that, especially being a classical liberal like myself, that basically stands like outside of the left at this point in time. It also kind of stands outside of the right. I think it's its own its own set of guiding principles.
I have given up on the whole left versus right, classification. Or categorization, I should say. I now look at everything as liberal versus illiberal. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're up or if you're down. I look at it, you could be right and identify as being right leaning and for liberalism. You could identify as being right leaning and against and being illiberal. You could be identifying as left leaning and being for liberalism, and you could identify as being left leaning and being against liberalism. To me, what matters is whether or not you stand for liberal values. These days, that's all that matters to me, or most of what matters.
These comments are so funny. Oh, Nasreen Drew gave us another super chat. Thank you, saying you do Susie times great. Thank you. You're just watching me unravel on air.
No. Nasrin is basically, I think, supporting the idea of you doing your own Susie time. Yes.
Yes, I agree. Jean is saying that we need a Renting Susanna podcast. Yeah,
It's ranting, I think.
Yeah, ranting. Yeah. You're not wrong. I just need to actually start following through on that. I'll have more time soon. And CTV Blease, thank you for the super chat. I saying, Susanna, you should debate Hassan Piker. You would absolutely destroy him. Okay, here's the thing. I have not really done formal debates. That would make me like that set my social anxiety into a spiral. And also I think I know myself well enough to know that I think I would get actually too emotionally activated to be able to do that well. Because I would get so pissed because he's a genuine terrorist sympathizer. Not even like sympathizer. It's like basically just full-blown supporter. And I don't know if I would be able to do that as well as I would like to do that. You know what I mean? But I see the potential. I see what you're saying.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.